The time's come to play here in my garden of
Hello, I'm Runia, aka Media Adaptation, and welcome back to Moderation while me is free game. And it's time once again to talk about the supposedly Lost A style anime, Go for a Punch, aka Saki Sanobashi, where we cover any new developments on the Discord and Reddit channels, and then followed up by covering some older anime and manga. So let's start with the Discord, which not much happened in the past week, but I also did find another anime archive website on the Wayback Machine, but the domain has long since been shut down and is now a site for statistics. Others have been tracking down a Japanese title which translates out to The Room of Brutality, which on their way they found this image, which does share some similarities to some earlier accounts, but this picture is from the anime Lemon Angel. Team Saki, the group doing the recreation project, has put out one more test sketch trying to finalize the art style before they proceed with the next step. We also got someone who posted this manga, which is Darkness of the Sea, Shadow of the Moon, which we look at the anime adaptation of back in part 33. An ancient virus gives two sisters psychic powers, and they fight over senpai. Other images that we got include this one from Perfect Blue, from 1997. Still to this day, one of the strangest anime, which also has an equally weird live-action adaptation. Another one that we got was this one from School Ghost Stories Hanako from 1993, which was her first anime and deals with different urban legends. And the one from the picture seems to be from The Tale of the Red Shoes, which is probably best known for its Korean movie adaptation. And our final image was a test sketch from the Higurashi series, namely the second season, as Hanyun is there as well. Also, the anime Bounty Dogs came up, which was made in 1993, and with a few of the images, it features a white-haired girl getting killed, and some sort of confinement, so we will be looking at this anime later. But first we still have to check out the Reddit sites before we get to that, which most of the posts over the past week are people finally getting sick of all the trolls, which seems like a few months too late, but again, better late than never. But I doubt it'd actually do anything for the channel, in the long run, as long as the mods continue to do nothing, or actively harass and bully the other members. Then it'll still be a dumpster fire. So anyway, over to the other Reddit. And we got a post from Hamarochi, talking about the works of Rumiko Takahashi, the creator of Rama 1/2, Lub, and Inuyasha. But they also did the horror anime called Laughing Target, which we looked at earlier last year. Which I also didn't know that it was actually classified as a lost anime for a long time. Anyway, it's a pretty good read. And finally, we got a fan art made by user Acid Bottle, not to be confused with Acid Trippin', which I'll probably just resize and use for a thumbnail for this video. But anyway, let's take a look at the anime Bounty Dogs, a two-part OVA, again from 1993. And I would actually recommend just skipping the first half, as not much happens, and it all just gets repeated in the other half anyway. So, the plot boils down to this. There's a weird energy reading on the moon, which has been colonized by a company, and the Bounty Dog unit was sent in to investigate, to make sure they weren't violating the Treaty of Space being a neutral zone, and weapons manufacturing would violate that. Our protagonist lost his girlfriend 5 years ago, after they got attacked. He lost his arm, but it was replaced by a prosthetic one. Turns out that she was actually an alien, set to monitor life on Earth from the moon. Her twin sister tried to overthrow her, so she was imprisoned there. But even though she was trapped, she was able to clone herself, which is what ended up killing our girlfriend. Now 5 years later, the sister's trying to break free, which is what the energy reading was. But his girl was able to sway one of the clones to help fight her. Hence the reason why we see a lot of violence against the white-haired girl. The anime itself is kind of okay, but that's just it. It's just okay. The tech the humans use is actually more interesting than some of the characters. Part organic, like a car that has hands, kinda like IGPX. or the military vehicles that are shaped like insects, reminiscent of Ghost of the Shell. But after it's all said and done, the clone sacrificed herself to save them from an assassin, and then he cuts off our sister's life support, which is contained in an acid, so it can only be done by his metal hand. Again, there wasn't anything really wrong with this show, but there wasn't anything to bring you back to it either. Anyway, on to our adult animation for this week, and we get the final episode of Dream Hunter Ren, from 1987. The show that started life as a hentai, but quickly dropped that, as they had much more fun with the concept. Or at least found it more profitable to do so. As in Part 3, Hidden Dreams, has absolutely none of it. But this episode itself is also very different, as the fact that as Rim can enter people's dreams and fight against stuff like ghosts and demons. But here, we have a spirit of a headless samurai, which is similar to a Dullahan, getting released from his prison, after scientists wanted to study a doll's energy which was being used to keep him there. But our ghost goes on a murderous rampage. And I kind of feel sorry to our newer viewers who joined this channel for our Irma videos. They must be really confused right now. So yeah, dealing with stuff in the real world is very different from the dreamscape. And an armored warrior isn't really scared off by bullets. But those rockets that did make appearance in the last episode do help at least drive him off. He was a samurai who fell in love, but she died shielding him from an arrow, and he sought revenge against the clan that did so, and swore to conquer all of Japan. Deep inside the cave, he found his missing head, and after reuniting with it, his power grows, as well as himself, and he's able to bring his dreams into reality, which Rin is able to actually use to at least get a fighting chance. But sadly, it doesn't come with a normal backup like her last few times. He continues to grow to kaiju-sized levels, and the pair stumble onto a military testing site, which without hesitation they decide to light him up, but to no avail as he just walks through them like nothing. So basically, with no other options, she tries to remind him of his humanity, and of what he lost, by playing a song that his fallen lover made. Which, even though it does seem corny, it actually works. I personally felt like the creators pretty much wrote themselves into a corner, but it does kind of fit the tones of the series. I did do some digging, and found out that they did make a follow-up to the series, in the form of 2 OVAs, made in 1990. So we'll probably have to bend some rules around to look at them sooner. Also, they made a sequel to the series in the form of a manga, from 2011, called Dream Hunter Rim Alternate, which again is probably something that we'll have to look into. But like always, we'll end this video by checking out the works of artist Shin Mu, as we look at the next part of A Classroom Bereft of Angels. The perfect girl died, but as to why and the truth behind her is still yet to be known. So we start with another flashback, which is of our gray girl, Hanawa, as she walks home with Amane and a classmate. They go over the results of the test they took. Amane made 100, and Hanawa nowhere close. Our girl then remarks that she's not very good at it, before departing, and then she offhand mentions that she wishes that she wouldn't talk down to her, which Amane replies with, "I'll show you something fun." Which would then cut to the next day, as the 3 of them sneak on the roof for recess. Hanawa sets up some cards, and Amane hops over the side of the railing, and her other girl follows, pointing to something. And when Hanawa looks up, Amane is just standing there alone. She's taken to the hospital, and her 2 visit her after class. Some investigators try to question them, but quickly give up on that, not thinking that'll be of any help. And the 2 visit their friend in silence. And while walking back, she says that it was okay. "You saw something fun now, didn't you?" After that, she decided to keep her distance, not wanting something that she said without thinking to hurt anyone else. But she begins to hear people talking about another girl, and wanting her to just disappear. Later that day, she's walking home, and sees her with Amane. They then duck into an alley, and when she catches up, she's dead as well. Amane never said a word to her about not saying anything about it, but a rumor started that just saying something bad out loud would cause it to come true, and so it kept repeating. As later, the 2 were talking on the roof, again asking if she saw something fun, to which she said it wasn't, Amane turns to her, starting to say, "I was," before we cut back to the present, with the class looking at the green bully that just died. The students look terrified, as our group from last time start to nail the door shut, making sure that there may not be just one killer. The rest of the class is too frightened to speak, but a girl with red hair steps forward, telling them that they can't just do what they want. Which leads into Chapter 4, which we'll have to cover next time. What if it turns out that our girl actually just killed herself, but we won't actually learn that until several more other people are dead? I really do like his work, kind of like this weird hybrid between webcomic and manga, but they're always creepy and filled with over-the-top violence. So I can't wait for next time. And that about does it for this video. If you have any other ideas like Saki made to a video, then please post it down in the comments below, and we'll add it to our next viewer request week.
It's now time for the part of the show where we ask you to help us appease the YouTube algorithm by dropping a like, share, or comment. It helps out much more than you'd think.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, then it's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to support this channel, then please visit our Patreon. Link will be down in the description below. Even if you can't give a lot, every little bit helps. Oh, we also started up a Let's Play channel. So if you want to see us try out some horror games, then feel free to stop on by. Link will be in the card as well as in the description. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, I'm Runya.
And I'm Ada.
Remind you to take life in moderation.
Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion. Hush now, dear children, it must be this way.